up. I got fucking accused on Facebook of being a
Whoa.
sexist by one of my former interns. Yeah, I'm not gonna say their name because I'm not gonna say their name.
What's his name?
It wasn't a him.
I know.
And so I was
That was also a
so
sexist
literally
term, by
so
the way,
yeah
that
so
I just
I made a post about Alexandra Octavio Cortez.
AOC.
And I literally think this is like how the fucking movie, like what I was getting accused of. So like this person like knows me, like so I came to like
Was it like
I
disclosure?
mean literally like
With
I
Demi
can't
Moore?
like my grad program is literally like almost all the professors were feminist, yeah, from like TW or UT. Majority, I'm fucking surrounded by girls here. My wife, my daughter. I mean, it's like half my clients are fucking females, right? I've never been a sexist, right? I'm not like probably like the least sexist person I fucking know, right? And so I made a comment about
Do you know what you just said?
what?
That's something that the racists say. I'm like the least
But
racist
like
person
literally anyone that knows me, like I've never said anything misogynistic, right? So I literally, you can go on my Facebook, on Gray Matters Radio on my Facebook, and I made a comment about Alexandra Octavio Cortez this weekend went on Twitter trashing the Democratic Party, saying that it's a national.
She said that was the biggest. Not conspiracy, but that was like the biggest, tragedy or failing was the fact that they weren't impeaching Trump. Not that Trump was supposedly breaking the law, but the Dems weren't doing enough to get him.
Exactly. So I made the comment, that here I'm gonna hear. So here's what I said. I go. So the article is AOC says Democrats' refusal to impeach Trump is a national scandal. I said, all right, apparently AOC didn't pay attention in school because not one single person with legal expertise says there is enough evidence to impeach him. It's like a child saying they can fly by flapping their arms harder and being mad when you tell them to stop. What's next? Gonna hold your breath and stop until you get your way? She is too short-sighted to realize without evidence, starting an impeachment inquiry will hand 2020 to Trump. And so this person says, so when you start saying shit like, quotation, she didn't pay attention in school, you're as inflammatory as the BS media you claim not to be. I agree with the thesis of the argument, but she isn't a child or a schoolgirl, exclamation point. An idealistic woman does not need to be demeaned. I'm like, what the fuck? I mean, and I literally said back when, if that would have been a guy, I literally would have said he. So you're getting me on pronouns, and the fact is this same person trashes Trump and calls him an idiot all the time. So I'm a sexist because literally I was even thinking about sex. I was saying it because literally there's no evidence to impeach him right now.
Well, I mean, let's be honest though. I mean, the reason why this person can trash Trump, which is their prerogative, but the reason why they can get away with saying the same identical thing, or you can, but not for say AOC, is because it's the chic, cool, hip thing to white males. I mean, they are ruining the country is what I've been told, and maybe they are, but that's just. I
mean, it's like, let's be honest here. I mean, the feminist movement has basically turned men to a bunch of pussies. My practice is full of guys with no identity, can't handle anything. So you have females, lesbians, you have all these women, transgender, celebrating their strong identity, the very things that men are being said is toxic masculinity. So when men do it, it's bad, but when women do it, they can celebrate it. It's like no one group should empower themselves at the expense of the other group. I mean, I didn't do shit. I wasn't a sexist. I understand that women there should be equal pay. That's fucked up. I do understand with the Me Too movement. Definitely. The Me Too movement, there's 99% of it is completely accurate and absolutely the attention should be brought to it. But when you say bullshit like this, when you know the person, I've never been a sexist, it's like you destroy your feminist movement when you claim shit to be sexist as not at all sexism.
It dilutes the real sexism.
Exactly, it does, and it's
let me tell you something, Mike. When it comes to sexism,
oh please tell me.
When it comes to masculinity and being in charge in my house, okay, let me make this clear. I am the king. Is my wife here?
No, she isn't. Okay. But she's probably listening though.
In that case, we split equally, and it's It's,
I mean, literally. I mean,
no,
you got.
Seriously, in all seriousness, you're right. It's you gotta have that ebb and flow. You got to be able to if certain people, whether it's a gender or a race or religion, if certain people are off limits strictly because of the gender, race, or religion, it doesn't work that way. You can't have equality, in my opinion, by not being equal. It's just, it's very strange. I don't know.
This will be a different show. I wanted to actually just a different show, different time. But like listen, like young men in this country are they are lost. They have no ego strength. They've been robbed. A lot of them
deserve what they've gotten.
No, hands down. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about a lot of the young men in my office who are good kids, but they have no identity. There's no, I mean, literally, like they can't handle anything. They've been robbed of any identity that could be a masculine identity. And then you have women celebrating the very thing that men used to be. And that is wrong. And the result is we have all these men that are fucking pussies. They can't handle anything life has to throw at them. And it's a travesty. So I wasn't going to fucking talk about that. I fucking spit on my damn thing.
I know you're upset by being called a sexist.
Yeah, because I celebrate my wife and how strong her personality is. I love that she's a leader and I fight for her. I'm raising a strong young woman, a 5-year-old, my Eleanor. I celebrate women. I have been nothing but supportive of women. Half my practice is me about empowering women and standing up for them. So I personally take offense when you take something that has nothing to do with that. And then the thing is, then you can't, you can sit there and trash one politician because you don't like them. And it's okay to say things that are a million times more inflammatory than what I said. And I can't say anything negative about a congresswoman because she's a female and because she is doing more damage to the party than anything. She's talking about impeachment when it's almost like she doesn't understand that has to go to the Senate where there's more Republicans there and you have to convince them, and there is no evidence for it. Your own party leader is saying to stop talking about it. And that's what is just, it is so screwed up in this country, is that everything is misogynistic or racist. And the fucked up thing is that it takes away from the legitimate argument that they're making of saying shit that isn't racist or misogynistic. And that is a shame. And it just, I had to get that out of the way because I was fucking fuming when I read that. And I bit my tongue. I could have said things a lot worse, even though I'm kind of angry on the air.
Well, sometimes, you know, you do wear your emotions on your sleeve.
I've been known to do that.
As you've gotten older, though, I think you've been able to temper. And I wouldn't call you an angry person, but when you have
passionate,
that's exactly the word I would use. But in the past, as we all have, and I think as we all get older and more mature, most of us anyway have learned to kind of, you know, hold off on saying exactly what's on our mind. And there's certain things, you know, we're all still working on it. I'm working on it. You're probably still working on it. But like you said, as we get older, you get a little bit better at it. But you're right. It's kind of messed up that just because you disagree, and that was kind of the thing that you and I have talked about on the show before, is me, you know, I am a Trump supporter. I'm not some blind Trump loyalist who will just follow him no matter what. No. I'm just saying I felt that at the time he was the best person for the job. And like I said, I voted for Obama in 2012 because I thought he was the best person for the job at that time. So in 2020, who knows? But it just frustrates me, to get back to your point, is you're right, because you disagree with somebody else, I automatically get labeled as, you know, I must be a racist, or I must be, you know, a homophobe, or I must, you know, whatever you want to call it. And I'm like, well, wait a minute, I don't think I'm any of those things. I think you can call me prejudiced. I think we're all prejudiced. I mean, you prejudge people. Yeah, I'm not a racist, though. I mean, you see no offense, you see some tough-looking guy riding down the street on a Harley with a bunch of tattoos and a mohawk, you're going to prejudge that guy. I'm sorry. You're just going to be like, this guy probably, you don't want to mess with him, or this guy, you know. Subsequently, you see a guy across the street in a suit and tie and briefcase. And again, it doesn't matter the race or anything. And you're going to make a judgment on that. So you're right. I guess it's kind of frustrating. It can be frustrating to be called sexist. I don't think you are.
Well, it's just... We're passionate about this country, all right? And I do this show. We do this show is so we can talk about things in a different way. I'm not saying I'm not biased in some way. I'm not saying there's not some spin, but the whole point of the show is we're trying to have a different dialogue about things. And I do get fired up when I kind of like a man without a home, because I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican. And so I feel like I can sometimes get it at both ends. And I think to make a value judgment because I'm calling out a congresswoman for just consistently self-aggrandizing, being short-sighted, doing
Ooh,
more
good word.
damage to her party, her movement. It's like her Green New Deal. It's like she did more damage to the environmental movement than any Republican could have done. The reason why you can't get Republicans on board to environmental policies is because they think it's a government takeover. So what is her grand thing to save the environment? I'm going to come up with a environmental Green New Deal that involves the biggest redistribution and biggest redesign of our economic system, that all it did was reinforce what 50% of the country feels about it. And it's like, you didn't have to do that. It was so stupid. And there's no chance of it passing. Your own party put it out in the platform to vote on to make you look like an idiot. And this is what she's constantly doing. She didn't understand how the taxes worked with the whole Amazon deal and went against what her own people wanted in her own district because it looked good to her Twitter following. Your own party leader, a female, is calling you out for basically being a representative to your Twitter followers, not your constituency. So what am I saying that your own party leadership, who is a female, who has said actually more in more parsing kind of words? So yeah, it pisses me off. And how can we have a dialogue in this country when if I agree with somebody maybe 50, probably 60% of the time, and then the second I disagree, I get labeled as something when they know me well beyond that and know that I'm not that way. And I have nothing I've ever done has ever indicated that I am anything but completely fair to every race, every gender, and especially considering how much I celebrate how strong of a woman my wife is and how strong of a young lady that I'm raising. That's the thing that probably hit me the most. But if we're going to do a show like this and we're going to raise the questions that we are, that's the flack that we're going to take. I mean, Jill even said today, like, I don't know how you do it. It seems like the more traction we get with our shows, the more we invite this into our social media feeds, and it kind of goes with the territory, whether it be sports on the armchair.
You're gonna have haters, man. I mean, that's just, if you don't agree with people, I mean, then that's just kind of where our society is going, which I don't think is for the better, but it's, people talk about tolerance, people talk about inclusion, people talk about understanding. Some of the same people that are talking about that are preaching that you need to, improve on your, tolerance are some of the most intolerant people.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, you're going to have the racists out there. You're going to have the sexists. I mean, those people, they're already there. I mean, it is what it is. But now it's almost like if you don't fall in line, so to speak, or you don't agree with this 100%, or if you raise any question, what, you don't believe in the cause? Or, oh, you're a turncoat. And you're like, well, wait a minute. First of all, I'm not on your team.
Yeah.
I'm on America's team. I want to do what's best for me and my family and the country and maybe the world. But it's like, oh, you're either with us or against us. And I'm like, well, that's a scary kind of proposition.
Yeah, but, I totally agree, Bill. I mean, it is scary. And I think it's like, I don't like Donald Trump. I like Trump supporters. I think they're all great Americans. I mean, there's some I think are a little kooky, just like on the liberal side, right?
You're going to have far left and far right.
Yeah, I can separate. And that's the thing. I can separate how I feel about the supporters versus how I feel about the candidates. And that's where politics has gone awry. And I think nothing could demonstrate that more than probably what happened this week with Trump and Ukraine.